Yo, this Terrell. Hall of Fame, D-Line, TBKC, and all that. Sweet, beautiful, wonderful shit. Let me take a sip. All right. That was good. Um, I'll tell y'all this. Kimbo blood. And I've been getting hit a lot on this, so you might see a couple videos on it. But I am going to touch on this. We're going to do a live on this because it continues to be a hot topic. And many of you have seen me talk about, Killer Kimbo and all the things. And one of the things that gets sometimes misconstrued about the Killer Kimbo situation is it's not just him. So a lot of times what's going on is that we say, yeah, Killer Kimbo was attributed to majority of the dogs in Europe that were attacking people and this and that and the other, which is very, very true. And he is the target because his particular bloodline is connected to several human deaths and a lot of attacks. When you're looking at Kimbo's pedigree, it's very, very inbred. It's super tightly inbred, one of the worst I've ever seen. So it can make sense as to why the dogs are that way. Now, beyond the fact of this dog, being inbred, having these issues, the bigger issue that gets called into play is why has nothing been done about it? Why is there not an aggressive banned dog list? And this is the biggest failure that we've seen by, certain people. Let's just put it that way. Because at the time of the England or UK, when they decided to ban the dogs, and they banned the XLs, the idea of, first of all, attacking the Prime Minister for doing his job. And I will defend the Prime Minister on that, and I do understand what a lot of you are saying, and I understand why you totally are against these things. But this is it. When it comes down to this situation, right? This is the way I see it. If I'm a prime minister, which we know I will never be anybody's prime minister, but if it's coming to me that civilians are being attacked, mauled, killed by a certain type of dog, it is my job to go out into the community and set up some laws and say, you know what, we're going to have to protect you from that because it's obviously a problem here. Some of the stories were horrific, as we talked about with individual, literally throwing themselves out of a window at times because, well, let me tell you that story, which was horrible, is that the lady had her dog. It was an XL dog, XL bully. And, to make a longer story short, she said the dog had never shown any sign of aggression. And then one day it was like a switch got flipped on the dog. And the dog, started showing this growling, this aggressive sort of thing and attacked her daughter. As she tried to save her daughter from the dog attacked her. Keep in mind, this is a dog that they had raised for a couple of years and had been a family pet. The attack got so vicious that the only way that she saw that she could, get away from the dog is to try to pull herself and her daughter and literally throw her body out of a window. The unfortunate part about that is that her daughter died. Now, with something like that happening, it's tragic. You know what I mean? I have a hard time saying it. And this is just one of the incidences. You would think that the leading registry would say, you know what, we have a problem. You're correct. Something needs to be done if this is happening. This same bloodline was responsible for a death in Canada. And I mean, it's a lot of deaths tied to the same blood of these dogs and certain dogs. And if you look at in general throughout the United States, the human attacks that are attributed to what would be considered very, very large pit bulls / American bullies has risen greatly. Instead of the head of registries and different things going in and making excuses, you would think that they would try to correct the problem. I think the biggest disappointment is here we are basically a year later from when all this controversy started, and we have seen no action at all by the ABKC. And I'll stick with them because they took the forefront on it. And we won't even talk about the fact that Dave said that there was no such thing as an XL bully and lied, and they got caught in that lie. But the sad part is if you go to the ABKC website, if you look around, there are no such thing as banned dogs where they are, are taking the registration away, that they are trying to fix the problem. That is a legitimate problem in the XL community. And as I've discussed on another video, one of the reasons why this is a problem is because in order to obtain that type of size, they have added Mastiff dogs. Me being a dog fanatic, I will tell you most Mastiff breeds are aggressive. Whether you talk about the South African Bordeaux, the Neo, the English Mastiff, the Bordeaux. These dogs, although they can be great family companions and different things of that nature, they will get in your ass. They will definitely turn up on you. They definitely will do any and everything that they can to protect, and they have a drive about themselves, and they don't mind biting people. So when this is not cultivated in the right way, that aggression can become misdirected. And when you're taking a dog that has been line bred for decades, in some cases centuries, to be a certain type of dog, and now you're mixing other things into it under the falsity that it's that it's really one breed, but it's not, you really disturb the soundness of its temperament. So now you're mixing in things, and generally when you mix in things, it takes some time. There's some temperament testing involved. You want to see what this dog is. But what happened in the American bully community is you have people mixing in South African Bordeaux. You have people mixing in Neos and other dogs with American bullies that already have Lord knows what in them, the way they're bred now. I know in some cases to get the Merle, you have the Alapaha. Of course, you have Pit Bull. Of course, you have different variations of Bulldogs. And this makes for a very, very unstable, very, very large, animal that can do a lot of damage. And the problem is that there's no regulation on this. The only way to fix it, you can't fix what people are doing in their yards, but you can govern this to make sure that this thing goes the right way. And the biggest failure that I've seen from the ABKC is there's nothing to govern the temperament of these dogs. As dog bites continue to climb, as issues continue to climb, there has been no governing, there has been no PSAs, there has been nothing to say that we're going to make this breed safer. And by not acknowledging that we have a problem with a lot of these dogs, first of all, they're overbred, they're not bred correctly, there's very little temperament testing going on, and we're putting tons of them out in the street. They're all called American bullies now, and they represent us as a whole, even though your dogs might not be doing that. And this is why we're going to face more and more sanctions and BSL issues, because the dog bites will continue. They didn't drop in 2024. They rose in 2023, and I'm guaranteeing you 2025 will be a lot of the same, because the more you put them out there, of course, there's a higher frequency as far as the chances that something will happen. And the more they're bred by, for lack of a better term, backyard breeders who don't understand the breeding process, the higher, the higher chance that you have of unstable animals. This is going to be a problem, people, because although they are different classes and technically different dogs, our community forever has been lumped in as one big community no matter what. We are one community. How things go is how things go. And we will be classified and lumped in as just one community no matter what. So guys, we better be ready to face some facts that we are going to face some issues. And I would hope that our community just takes the initiative to start fixing some of those problems themselves. But if they don't, hopefully the ABKC and other entities in this community start to do a better job of policing the breed. Some of these dogs need to be put down. Some of these dogs definitely need to have their paperwork taken and not be allowed to reproduce with paperwork and sold off as something that they're not. It is a very dangerous thing. I've told y'all stories about people who contacted me personally. One individual, losing an arm to his own dog, trying to save his dog from his daughter, you know what I mean? So, and I'm not exaggerating, literally losing an arm, he saved his daughter. Let's just put it that way. But this is something that we got to think about as we go forward. The situation is getting more and more serious. But until next time, y'all, man, we will be live pretty soon. God bless y'all. Much love. Peace.